Greetings, Microscopists. This is Eric Miller from Instructinate, and today we're going to be reacting to a very cool little scene from the 1982 film Blade Runner. So first we're going to talk about what is literally going on in this scene, which is totally bonkers, and then we'll talk about what is being represented by this scene on a technology level, which I think is the more interesting part. To start off with, this movie is set in the distant future of 2019. I can hardly wait for it. So Harrison Ford's character is sleuthing around and finds something that looks like a fish scale. You see, in this world, animals are very rare, and most animals you might encounter are genetically engineered cyborg animals. So to track down where this scale came from, he goes to this place somewhere on the rainy streets of Los Angeles to find out more about it. He hands this lady the scale in a bag, she sets it down, presumably under the microscope, and then up pops a bunch of scanning electron microscope images on this small CRT screen. She says it's not a fish scale, but a snake scale, and she's able to read the serial number of the manufacturer so Harrison Ford can go and do more sleuthing. So let's walk through this. To start off with, just from an eye level, this looks exactly like a fish scale and nothing at all like a snake scale. Snake scales won't just pop off the side of a snake, kind of like they can with some fish. The next thing is when this lady goes to look at the scale under the microscope, she doesn't even take it out of the bag. If this is an electron microscope, which the images indicate it is, you would have to take the scale out of the bag to put it in the vacuum chamber since the electrons can't see through the plastic bag. But even if this was a light microscope, you'd still totally take it out of the bag before viewing it. So that's no good. Then we've got these images, which as I mentioned are quite obviously SEM images. However, these are not images of a snake scale or even a fish scale. These images, at least most of them, appear to me to be of plants. The final one we see appears to be maybe a fuzzy leaf of some kind. Now, I'm not a plant biologist, so please correct me in the comments if you know what any of these samples are. What is cool is the serial number on the sample. This was likely painted directly onto the micrograph by hand by the art department, and I have to say, it looks pretty good, if maybe a little clean. So the nuts and bolts of this scene are, as to be expected, ridiculous. But what I think it all represents is pretty amazing. Basically, what we're seeing here is someone going to a street vendor and having them examine their sample on a tabletop SEM. I remember watching this movie in the 1990s and thinking to myself, wouldn't it be amazing to have this kind of technology available in 2019? Well, surprise, surprise, this level of technology was 100% achievable in 2019. Tabletop SEMs are small enough to fit in a street stall like this. They run off a normal 110 power cord and are powerful enough to see this level of detail on a sample, and some are capable of variable pressure operation, which would allow you to look at a biological sample like this without a conductive coating on it. So overall, I'm going to rate this as straight up good. While some of the finer details here are wonky, the future prediction is right on the money, and it does accurately reflect the reality that we actually live in today. I think it's pretty amazing that of all the wild futuristic things that we see in this movie, like off-world colonies, flying cars, and crafted purpose-built cybernetic organisms, this one thing that did come true in 2019 was a tabletop SEM. Now, if you know of any movies or TV shows where an electron microscope shows up, let me know about it in the comments. This is Eric Miller from Instructinate. Thanks. We'll see you next time.